Hi guys, happy Saturday. Sorry I'm sending this to you guys on a Saturday instead of Friday. I got a little bit behind yesterday, so I'm a few hours later than I wanted to post this. But since I'm posting your work today on Saturday, I'll let you have until next Saturday to do it. So I'll extend the deadline. I said everything would be due on Fridays, but we'll just go ahead and move this week's to Saturday at midnight so that you can make sure that you have a full week to get the work done. So, what's going to happen this week is a focus on your introduction and thesis, which takes a lot of like brain power to work through. So you won't maybe be writing as many words, but you'll have to do a lot of thinking this week. So I'm trying to create assignments that kind of guide you to be able to do that, that like brainstorming and critical thinking. So I'll show you that. Let me pull up my course in here. So I'll change the screen. Oh, and you guys, last night I decided to make Instagram for our class, and I my American Lit class, I put them on, like I told them about it too. But you can follow me. It's at Professor Hart. I won't follow you back, so you don't have to worry about me like actually creeping on your stuff or like seeing like your personal stuff, and I'm not posting my personal stuff either. It's really for the class. But I thought it would be a fun way to like remind you of due dates, or just like check in, or you can like send me direct messages through that account and I can respond to it there. So it's just like another way to keep in touch if you want to, but it's totally optional. And if you're like, I don't want to see due dates on my Instagram feed, I understand. But I thought it might just be like kind of cool to have a separate account to connect with. So anyway, that's there. In terms of work for this week, there's something slightly different. So I have an optional discussion that will be due in the middle of the week if you want to workshop your thesis with me before it's due. So let me show you that. So if you click communication and you click discussions, you should be able to, I should probably click view as a student really quick so you'll see exactly. So sorry about that. Communication, discussions. When you scroll down, you'll see a discussion that says focus and purpose. So it says complete this discussion by Wednesday at noon for feedback. So this discussion board tells you how to brainstorm and write a thesis statement. So even if you don't complete this discussion board, you still have to write a thesis statement by Saturday at 11:59. So familiarize yourself with these instructions even if you don't choose to partake in the discussion-y workshop part of it. So let me show you what that means. So as it says here, this is not for credit. It's for feedback. So if you post there by Wednesday at noon, you'll receive feedback from me within 24 hours of Wednesday at noon. But it's not going to be like you get a 0 if you don't do it. So this is really, like I said, about workshopping and about letting me look at what you're working with. So you'll start a thread. You'll open the post by saying which texts and tropes you're working with, just so I can get like a sense of where you're headed. And then you're going to copy and paste your 7 topic sentences from last class onto this discussion board. So I can see what arguments you're making, what moments you seem to be looking at. And I can even give you feedback on the topic sentences. Like, I don't really understand where they're going, or, oh man, these are strong, or whatever. I can look at those. And then here's the brainstorming part. You're going to look at all those topic sentences and think, okay, what do I seem to be arguing in these little mini moments? Because remember, those topic sentences are mini claims, like they're mini analysis of specific textual moments. Your thesis is a bigger analysis of those tiny arguments. So you zoomed in really closely last week and looked at specific details. This week you're looking beyond all of that and thinking, okay, what's my point? This is really hard to do for all of us. I just had to send in a thesis to one of my classes at Georgia State, and I was like, this is so bad, I don't even know but like here, and my teacher was able to help me just because I sent her something. So I tried. It was a very similar process to this, honestly, and it was hard for me to do. So I know this is going to be hard, but it's the way that this like brain power thing works. So, and I'm here to help. So you're looking at them and you're thinking, okay, what do I see in common? What am I looking at? What pattern am I seeing? What's the focus? Now, much of your focus will probably be your tropes. So your focus might be some kind of combination of those tropes. It might be the way that education conflicts with the natural world, or the way that beauty is determined by gender roles or something, like some kind of like phrasing that includes your tropes might be what pattern is being focused on, right? So you've identified at least 3 tropes that you were looking at. See if you can kind of like figure out some way to say how those things are talking to each other. That's the focus, what your tropes are doing. Your purpose is why we would ever look at those tropes. That's probably the harder part. So like, okay, my focus are these big ideas. But the reason we should look at those big ideas is to understand what. So focus and purpose, those are the 2 parts of the thesis. They're kind of like the what and the why of a topic sentence, but it's broader, right? It's not just one moment in the text. It's like a larger idea that you're seeing and then why we should care about it. So if you follow these steps and post it on the discussion board before Wednesday, I can try to, if you write it before Wednesday, I'll try to write back pretty quickly. I'll try to keep up on this board all week. It's like, but you'll definitely get feedback if you post here. It's just, it will definitely be by Thursday at noon is my deadline to get it back to you, but I'll try to go quicker just so you can see where you're headed and we can have a dialogue on here too. So that's the optional part of the week. What is required, and I'll scroll back up here to the assessments and assignments. This is the big daddy for the week, like you've been doing. So what I'm asking you to do is to, if you've done the 3.1 discussion board or whatever that I just talked about, you'll already have the thesis part done. So if you choose not to do that discussion board, you'll have to do it here on your own because we need some kind of like working thesis. This is similar instructions to what I just gave you a second ago. So you'll write a thesis either way. But then after that, for the official assignment that's due for everybody by next Saturday, I want you to already begin to write your introduction. So I have some information about what an introduction includes here, and you can follow along there. But I also wrote this like hint. When you wrote stage 1, however long ago that was, you spent a lot of time like answering what is this text about. And remember here in the instructions for an introduction, you have a hook that identifies the author in the text, saying maybe when it was written or something. You have context that has specific examples that show your tropes being made visible, but you also are providing just a summary of the text. So you already had worked with the summary in stage 1, and you already like said some like main takeaways and moments of intrigue. Like remember all that stuff that you wrote? You can go back to your stage 1 and see if you can reuse that material to write your introduction. So that's why I was like super into like trying to get you guys to beef that part out of your stage 1 assignment, because you can use it here. Like, well, that summary you wrote for Handmaid's Tale, that probably will be a big chunk of your introduction if you can go back to it and pull from it. So I hope that makes sense. You can just see what you have that works and what doesn't. But then after that, I do want you to go back and look at your topic sentences. So if you did the discussion, you will have already looked at them again. But I want you to now, instead of like trying to glean some kind of like common feature or something from the topic sentences, for this assignment, I want you to think about the order that they might actually appear in your paper. So it could be that the last one you wrote should be the first body paragraph. Often they'll go in order of appearance in the text. So like if you have something from the beginning of Fight Club, it's probably going to be your first body paragraph, and something from the end, it's probably towards the end of the paper, but it could be different. So after you've written out the thesis, written out the summary of your introduction, list those topic sentences in the order that you think makes the most sense for your paper. So you'll have a kind of a mini outline when this is finished. Now, the next class that we have, or the next like assignment you have, we're going to be building or assembling your paper. So you'll be thinking about the other sources from stage 1 that might fit into some of your body paragraphs. You'll be thinking about which of your TDQAs from last class were stronger, if any of them need to be combined. Like we'll be like putting stuff together that you've already written and then finishing it out with a conclusion. So in theory, a week from, or I guess 2 weeks from today, so when your week 4 stuff is due, the paper will be finished basically. Like you'll have a full rough draft of it. So we'll see how it goes. I think that if you follow these steps, you're going to sound like a 12-step program if you follow these steps, but it kind of is true. Like if you can keep up with like the order of operations here, you'll have like at least a a draft ready to turn in. So hope all that makes sense. I know it's a lot for this week, but just hang in there with me. Let me know if you have any questions. Y'all have a good weekend, and I'll check in with you guys. And don't forget to follow my Instagram to keep up with more stuff. So see y'all soon.